We were live for 14 seconds,
Oh,
and now
Ooh.
maybe we're actually going to
Well,
be.
actually, this being live streamed, so I got a notification on my Zoom.
yep.
So there we go.
I did too.
Cool,
Woo!
That's finally popped up.
cool.
Yay.
Well, we got a couple of people in the room, so we might as well get the whole welcome back, Carter. Welcome back. We just aged ourselves. Um, Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of the virtual Cantina watch along and episode 2 of the Path of the Darksaber. My name is Spencer. I'm going to be one of your hosts for the evening. As always, we have Senor Jefe. Jeff, how are you?
Good. Another excellent set of episodes we're going to watch tonight.
Absolutely. And rocking the producing seat tonight, as always, is Dave. What's going on, sir?
Hey, another beautiful night for some Star Wars content.
Yes. And always a pleasure having our good friend Mark Van Ohlen joining us tonight as our historian of the Darksaber. Mark, how are you?
Doing great. I'm excited to see some of the best episodes of Star Wars in the whole saga tonight. We're watching them tonight.
It's been pretty awesome stuff. But first, a word from our sponsors. If you saw us earlier today or tried to see us earlier today, I should notice that the Bunta Eve Cantina T-shirts started to come in, which is pretty awesome. This is the black one, and we have a gray one with nice blue print on it. You can see it on our page. They're on sale right now at buntaevecantina.square.site. That's SITE. And if you order it now, you'll have it before Celebration because we'll have a number of them available at Celebration, but can't guarantee we're going to have numbers of them. So if you're interested in getting one before Celebration, order them now. Also, we have a special deal that if you buy a shirt and there's a combo pack of the shirt, a pin, which has a previous logo that we're not allowed to talk about anymore, and a
Make me
poster.
bust out the cease and desist graphic.
Yes, again, we don't need that. Nobody got time for that. But if you're interested, we are going to be holding that open until the end of this month, and then we're going to be going to print on the rest of the T-shirts. So keep that in mind. Also, on the TeePublic store, we have a brand new T-shirt that is up. And actually, I saw that I'm getting my notification for mine delivery tomorrow on Yippee-ki-yay, Dankfark.
I have not gotten mine yet.
I got my notification that's going to be arriving mañana. I'm very excited about it. So our new Die Hard shirt is available on our TeePublic store. And just remember that all proceeds from TeePublic go towards extra swag for us at Celebration. So you guys benefit directly from everything that we do. And just a whole bunch of other good stuff going on. Dave, why don't you talk about what's going on with the network?
Oh, always on the Virtual Cantina Network. We are getting awfully, awfully close to 900 subscribers. When we hit 900 subscribers, we are going to go all the way back to the beginnings of the subscriptions, and everybody is going to be thrown into the pot and for fabulous, fabulous prizes. We were just talking about them before we went on the air. No soup for you. We're not telling you. We know, you don't know.
Yes.
What the fabulous prizes will be. And always, join us on the network for unboxings. Join us for our Sunday morning shows, the Unifying Force and the Jedi Archives, always. And coming up, it's the first week of the month on always the second Monday of the month is going to be celebrating autographs, how to navigate autographs and what you need to be looking at for getting your autographs at Star Wars Celebration. So check us out on that as well.
Yes. And also, I want to also bring up, thank you for reminding me, is that at 12 o'clock Eastern time, that's 9 a.m. Pacific, on Monday, I am going to do my first solo news desk talking about what you need to do to prepare for Celebration for everything outside of autographs. What you're looking to buy on it, get your Amazon list together, start look for shoes, battery packs, everything you need to start getting ready, because once information starts to come out, and it's going to start to come out. And with the time frame that we have, it's going to be hot and heavy and fast. That sounded completely wrong, but guess what? It's a celebration, so it's all completely wrong. So we'll be, make sure that you join me. It'll be on demand, and we'll put it up on the network shortly after I do the live broadcast. But keep in mind, keep everything up, open mind. But things are going to be starting to come together very, very quickly for Celebration, and it's going to be awesome. But we're not here really to talk about Celebration right now. We're here to talk about the Darksaber, which is this beauty right here. As you should have it with you at all times.
In the other room.
Someone beat you for that?
I have this.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I got mine right here too.
In my head.
Marcus grabbing his.
Here we go.
So, there you go. That looks pretty.
Looks pretty good.
We're about to go to part 2 of the Path to the Darksaber. So, Mark, why don't you get us up to speed of where we are, who has the Darksaber going into these episodes we're about to watch?
So I brought my handy dandy list because I can't remember off the top of my head sometimes as to like where this thing disappears to. So at the start of last week's show, I gave everyone like a breakdown of like what we knew about the Darksaber, where it started and where it goes to. Just to catch everyone up, Vizzler was the first Jedi Mandalorian. He's the one who built the Darksaber originally. And I got a year on this, actually. I found it on the Wikipedia. 1032 BBY. So we're talking 1,000 years before Battle of Yavin, right? So this is going way back. And then he ruled Mandalore. Eventually he died because he had a lifespan, and the saber ended up at the Jedi Temple. Other Mandalorians at a later date, which is not really I couldn't find that date anywhere. They took the Darksaber from the Jedi Temple back to Mandalore, and it seems as if it stayed in House Vizzler that whole time. And then when we first see it on screen in Clone Wars last week, it was in the hands of pre-Vizzler, voiced by Jon Favreau. That's in the year 21 BBY, so 21 years before Battle of Yavin. He has the Darksaber, and we saw him holding it last week. It won't be for long, but last we saw the Darksaber, it was in the hands of pre-Vizzler. So when we pick up in this episode, in episode 14, it's pre-Vizzler, Bo-Katan, and some others teaming up with Maul to take over Mandalore. That's really the plan. We know where it goes after that, but we're going to watch that happen, and it's going to be awesome.
Something that you alluded earlier is that this is some of the best Star Wars in the entire saga. I mean, I would put this up against the last 4 episodes of season 7 of Clone Wars, which I think is some of the best Star Wars, or at least the best Star Wars of the Disney era. Because right now, I don't think we're really into the Disney era currently. Why would you say this is some of the best of the saga?
I have some stats to back up how I feel about it, because so I did my homework on this one. I went to IMDb and I went through all the episodes and looked at the rankings, because you can rate the episodes. So The Lawless, which is episode 16 of what we're going to watch tonight, is among the highest rated in the whole of Clone Wars. It's a 9.7 out of 10. Eminence, which is the first episode we're going to watch tonight, that's episode 14. That's 8.8, and Shades of Reason is 9.1. So it goes, we're going to watch tonight 8.8, 9.1, 9.7. 9.7 is in the top 5 of all Clone Wars episodes. The only ones that rank higher are or in line. So The Wrong Jedi comes in at 9.6, by the way. I just wanted to drop that one in there. The end of the Ahsoka, arc, and when she leaves, it just misses out The Lawless, 9.6. But all 4 parts of Siege of Mandalore come in at 9.7, 9.8, 9.8, and 9.8. And we know that's excellent. It's built as a movie. The animation's incredible. There's a recency effect as well, probably, but I do think it's going to hold for a long period of time. But those are the only episodes that trump The Lawless. The rest of the series, actually, if you go onto IMDb, I think the ratings are really fair. The episodes that are not that great have a 5 and a 6 rating. The episodes that are good have a 7 rating. It's not that like fans have bombed the review site on IMDb. It's not like the tomato site where you can really do that. So I think the ratings were all very fair, but The Lawless and Eminence and Shades of Reason are top tier for Clone Wars.
Excellent. So, Jeff, how do you feel about, where we are right now with where the path to the Darksaber is? That it's in Maul's hands. He's obviously utilizing his own version of the Mandalorians to basically start his own crime syndicate, which we know that, eventually it's going to turn to Crimson Dawn. What's your thoughts on where we are right now?
I think it's kind of interesting considering Maul and his past, him trying to take over Mandalore, so to speak. I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch. I really enjoy some of these episodes a lot. I haven't seen these recently either, so I think it'll be some stuff will kind of be new again because I haven't seen them in so long. But I'm just looking forward to it.
So we'll put it out to you in the chat right now. We got a number of people in there right now, and welcome to everybody that's watching right with us. We'll be starting about 9 to 10 minutes. Remember, we're going to be watching season 5, episodes 14, 15, and 16. So make sure that you have that queued up on the D+ machine. But chime in. What are you loving about the path to the Darksaber? What do you like where we are? What are you not liking? What are you looking forward to? I'm really excited to actually have a more, that we're having a more condensed, strategic view of the path, as opposed to, okay, we see a little bit of this here and a little bit of that there, and it's like, okay, cool, there's a Darksaber, but we're really honing in on where it goes. And we've always talked about, originally the people talked about the path to the saber, they're talking about, Anakin's saber, where it went from Anakin to Luke to Rey.
That's a story over time.
Yes. I mean, and there was always, the red herring of, the force is strong in my family. My father had it, I have it, my sister has it, and you have that power too, which is what we heard in the trailer for Force Awakens. It was that whole thing. But the Darksaber has a more rich, like, you want to say, history. We would talk about that. It's 1,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, before Luke Skywalker becomes the legend, the farm boy who 48 hours beforehand saw his aunt and uncle die, to becoming a war hero. So it's very, very exciting to see what we're going right now. I mean, Scooby just posted that he loves that the lightsaber is tied to Mandalore, and then we're getting so much lore about that. And Bryce loves the journey we're on, and I have to agree. I mean, Mark, you love the Darksaber. You said it several times. What so much excites you about this particular weaponry?
It's the lore that surrounds it. The blade itself is super cool. We talked about that last week, how it looks really different. It definitely stands out compared to other lightsabers. It's not red or blue or green or even yellow or orange, right? Like, it's got a completely different look and feel. It's made of Beskar, we find out. But it's really more about what it means to the people of Mandalore and how, like, this actual object has developed its own mythology. Beyond just being like a tool of someone, because Luke's lightsaber or Anakin's lightsaber, however you want to refer to it, is pretty cool, but it's still like the standard lightsaber of a Jedi. Like, this weapon essentially gives you the keys to the kingdom. You beat someone in combat with it, and you can rule not just a planet; it's like a system of planets, and everyone's gonna like bow down. And in the case of Bo-Katan, we will see in Rebels, she didn't even win it. It was handed to her by Sabine. Now, I still think she rightfully deserves it, and I would vote for her if it were democracy. But like, she just held the thing up. You're losing my arm in there, but she held the thing up, and everyone like kneeled and bowed, and we're like, oh yeah, she's gonna run this place, and we're gonna beat the Empire. It was that moment, like, I could take on the whole Empire myself, right? And an army like lined up behind her. So people know that this weapon has value and adds value to the user. whoever that person might be. So there's something intrinsically powerful about it.
Well, one thing I could think you can almost kind of, compare it to is almost like Thor's hammer, the Mordor. And they talked about it, especially when they're in Age of Ultron, when they're all getting drunk and, Cap, makes it squeak a little bit, but everybody's like, oh, and Tony Stark's like, okay, so I get to rule Asgard if I lift it, I mean, if you want to compare, I mean, Dave, you're one of our resident comic book guys here. Well, I mean, how would you compare the Mordor to the Darksaber in the connotations?
I mean, it's almost exactly that, especially the kind of thing that you start to see in episodes that we're going to watch in the future of Rebels with Sabine training with it. What we've seen just recently in the Book of Boba Fett when Din has it and the armorer is telling him, why it's heavy, why it carries so much weight and you have to will yourself to use it or it has to deem you worthy to use it. It's the exact kind of thing I think that sort of thing is going to play a big part in what's going forward with Mandalorian season 3 and any of the future shows. Is Din worthy? How can he become worthy? Who else might be worthy if he's not? That's going to be a lot. And I think that's one of the great things about the episodes that we're going to be watching tonight. I think this stuff is going to play a big part in what happens with Din Djarin and the Darksaber. Do we find out that the armor is like one of the Mandalorians from kind of the Maul cult? Spiky helmet. I
feel that way.
A lot of things going on. I think this stuff that we're watching right now is going to be really important going forward, and I think it's all going to come up again.
Well, I agree with you. I definitely feel like they talked about the zealots of the Mandalorian clan. And the ones that did not take their helmets off were the Death Watch original OG. Follow the you want to say, I guess you want to say the Old Testament of Mandalore versus the Reformed, if you want to call it the Clan Crease and the Night Owls, if you want to get biblical on the whole scenario. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens. And we know that Din Djarin is now like kind of floating in between, but coming with his own sort of philosophy, still following the path of the way, as we saw like in the finale of Fett, but still, knowing that he is, doing what he needs to do, now that he's going to be, is back with Grogu. Hey, Sherry, how are you? We're about 2 minutes out from us starting episode 14 of season 5. So make sure that you're all queued up on D+. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us again tonight. We'll greatly appreciate it. Also, plug again, don't forget the Bunta Eve t-shirts are looking gorgeous. You can get them now at buntaevecantina.square.site. And if you want to receive yours before Bunta Eve, I suggest you order it because we're going to have numbers at the event, but we don't know how many we're going to have that's going to be able to get everybody to get shirts. So make sure you check those out. I guess, that's really all I had for the pre-show. Anything before we start, Dave or Jeff or Mark?
I'm just excited to get started. Like I said, this is going to be excellent. So people get yourselves queued up, run the D+ machine, and this is going to be a nice one.
See you, Scooby.
Hey, Ashley, thank you for joining us tonight. Good night, Scooby. Hope you like the Batman. I need to go see it. I've heard good things.
Tomorrow.
She literally just came from the theater to come jump on with us right now.
Good timing.
Yes. So yeah, we're about about 20, 30 more seconds. So make sure you're queued up. Well, we're here. So I'm gonna start the 10-second countdown for this particular one. Remember, we're in season 5, episode 14, starting in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Don't skip the intro.
Never skip the intro.
One vision can have many interpretations. This is like fortune cookies. I love these.
They're floating around in like a space cargo container.
Yes.
Yeah, big ship come across. Oh,
Look at that. I didn't realize that was the pikes behind them. With Maul. See that?
Oh, there he is.
He's got the pikes to his right, behind his left hand.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to. I was just watching like how the Darksaber looks so like gold in these episodes. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that first time I saw it, it looked like it was almost glowing yellow. And then they just keep adding more white to offset it.
And you have
Yeah.
Bo-Katan walking with Dark Match Brock Lesnar next to her. Katie's just so perfect, live action and in cartoon. I mean, I'm ecstatic at what she's doing.
Yeah, see, this is the thing about this galaxy is like the big bads and the villains don't get that much press because these guys don't know who Maul is. It's like, wait, he was the big bad in like an entire, I don't know. It's fought Obi-Wan Kenobi multiple times, but who's this guy?
Yeah, but if you also figure this out, is that what up until the invasion of Naboo, they didn't even know that there was a secondary Sith, let alone one Sith with Sidious. So they might not even known who Maul was at all.
I suppose.
If you think about it.
Oh, here we go. Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan.
So the modders just go to town without consent. Like, I didn't ask you to fix me. But they're gonna get modded anyways.
What timestamp are you guys on?
I think our timestamp that's on the thing is pretty accurate. I'm at what, 319, 320?
Yeah, that's what I'm at too.
Great. Mine froze for a second.
Inedible.
Obey.
I don't know. I would take a look at these guys and be like, we just need to leave. It's pretty clear, especially once you find out they're Force users, they could just kill you.
Well, and they obviously know the Sith because they're talking about rule of twos here. So they know what's up.
Yeah,
but they're still going okay.
Yeah. How desperate are they? I mean, I realize that Death Watch really wants Mandalore back, but starting an alliance with the two of them, he should know it's not going to end well.
Yep. Ashley, we're at 425.
Exposition, exposition, exposition.
Wasn't the original pre-Vizzler the white version of Boba Fett?
I don't know.
The prototype?
I think that's what they called it. Him, whatever.
Okay, see, this is when you can tell we're watching a good episode because we're all sitting here watching it instead of actually
Yeah.
Taking it all in.
All gets pretty intense. So,
And this is, I mean, Sam is just incredible in the role. And he's really become a part of the fandom in a way that a lot of other actors have not. Just, you know, a lot of they're all great, but he has really just dove in there and become the expert on trivia. Didn't he win the Schmodown or whatever the big trivia contest was? Like Sam Whitner knows his stuff.
I know he goes to Scum quite often and Cali to do trivia and stuff. So
yep. Meanwhile, him choking.
I follow him on Twitter, and
a little bit of a foreshadowing. She's so unfazed. Look at that. He tried to force choke her to death, and she's like, "Oh, good, the plan's still in place." So she's a sociopath.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of like Katie Sackhoff characters have that in the background. Like underneath, it's like, oh,
yeah, nuts.
Starbucks. It's
yeah,
crazy.
Did any of you guys get to meet Katie at Celebration in 2019?
I didn't meet her there, but I met her at Fan Expo Boston last year.
Oh, nice.
But I wish I met her at Celebration because it was literally like a couple of days after she debuted on The Flash as Amulet. So I was like, oh my God, I just saw her like on TV a couple of days ago. But what a sweetheart. Couldn't be happier that, they had a baby, which was crazy secret because she never looked pregnant. But she's awesome and she loves her fans.
Yeah, she was terrific, and she did very well at the show too, especially just being a Rebels character at the time, and I guess Clone Wars and Rebels. And we had her sign a ton of stuff for us. We had cards, we had photos. She spent a good amount of time talking to people in the public, autographing. But The Mandalorian wasn't out yet, right? And people suspected, if you're doing a live action Mandalorian, someone like Bo-Katan could be in it. And then she finally made it in season 2. But at the time, there was only speculation, and we only had her signing her animated character. But yeah, she had a lot of people asking, like, are you going to be in The Mandalorian? And she's like, I don't know. Like, she's like, the show's not out.
And she would have been at that time, like right in the peak of Long March. Right. So she was just blowing up there.
Yeah, she's a good ambassador for the genre, the sci-fi in general. And she does the con circuit pretty frequently. As does Sam. Sam is out there like a good amount. Can't find Clancy Brown anywhere.
I need him on so many things, and not even just from Mandalorian. I need him like on Starship Troopers. I need him on Shawshank. It's like
when the original Savage episodes aired, they did a preview at the Egyptian Theater here in LA and Hollywood, and I was lucky enough to attend, and he was there to see the episodes and talk about them. I think they did a little Q&A. I think I have a photo.
This I think is the crazy is the Mandalorian dropship, like the clone, not the clone, but the help me, the droid drop ships. They're just dropping them just like.
Yeah, I've never met Clancy Brown. We never got him to sign autographs. We couldn't get him to do any public appearances. And that's totally fine. Like, I know it's not for everyone. But But yeah, he's missing on all my stuff too.
Actually,
Look how
says
big
she
he
come on
is.
SpongeBob stuff.
You're gonna laugh. I did not plan this.
Yes.
So
Squidward.
we'll work at Viacom's my base business, and I'm actually working on some stuff. Doing some big oversized silly masks for SpongeBob. We're doing handsome Squidward. We're doing surprise Patrick, and then there's rainbow SpongeBob, like so all the memes, among a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I love surprise Patrick. It's my favorite. Oh, these are the pikes, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I watched the episode recently to prep and do my homework and stuff, and I came up with like a quick list because you know the motion in this episode is we're going to go grab other crime syndicates and form. It reminds me of like what just happened on Boba Fett, actually.
Yeah.
So here's the checklist of who's aligning, which is kind of crazy. So we've got Death Watch from the start. We're bringing in Maul and Savage. So you have the two Sith that we know, Black Sun, the Pikes, and we're going to see the Hutts in a little bit. That's a lot. Like that's a big, like, and they don't even want to take on the Republic. They just want to swoop in and cause trouble in Mandalore. Like it's almost overkill, but they've cornered the crime market here. There's no one really missing.
I just have to say that saber move that they just pulled, chopping everybody's heads off.
Oh yeah,
pretty
the
bad.
helicopter with the.
Savage has the best kills. If you
Yeah.
like, there's. I mean, I remember when he takes out like some. There's a couple of young Jedi early on in his appearances. He just like slices right through them. I think he kills Stas Ali also. Like he's got a couple of really like big name kills on his list as well.
One Vision. We were just talking about Clancy Brown, and it's One Vision. Sorry, Queen reference. Never mind.
Iron Eagle. I got it. One of my favorite Queen songs.
And immediately he's just taken over the entire deal. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
And there's no backing out at this point, right? Like because he has the saber, and he's the leader of Mandalore, everyone's looking to him to run things, and so he can't run away now. He's in too deep, like, and they haven't made their play for Mandalore yet. So, but the deal keeps changing. This is that like what is it like? Pray I don't alter it again. Like
right.
It's gonna keep happening.
Alter it any further.
It's like the Pikes are okay. So was that the Pikes before? Because he's like they will be the next to join us. Because he was just killing dudes before. I guess they were guys that dressed like the Pikes.
Oh, I think that was Black Sun.
Okay,
that must have been right. Which how interesting is that? That like Black Sun, and then he forms Crimson Dawn. I don't know if that's intentional. Someone out there is probably
Kevin Michael Richardson. Wasn't that one of the Backstreet Boys?
Which one?
Kevin Richardson.
I'm gonna go with no.
I don't.
I do.
I'm not
enjoy
pulling
this.
it up. We should tour the facility. We're walking. We're stopping.
There you go.
Is that the same? Like, remember when what was the when Ahsoka's in the prison in season 7, and they're talking about who Skywalker, like they were trying to figure out who that Palpatine was going after. These look like similar cells. Maybe it's just the way they was drawn.
Okay, I don't know. That was a deeper. That was too deep a reference for me.
I don't recognize
It
it.
happens.
I'm bad with that. Like the really, like the trivia pieces. Like I always have to double check names and dates and everything. Like I've got the broad strokes of the series. But yeah, there's a lot to know. It becomes overwhelming. Like I watch Alex from Star Wars Explain, like bang out trivia, and I just sit there and my eyes like spin like pinwheels. I definitely can't remember all that information. I will say this is a fun sequence. There's some interesting little, I'd call it an Easter egg. Like the going into my research on this, I was like, oh, I recognize that girl, Lots Roddy, the one with the pigtails. I believe is part of the like bounty hunter crew that we meet in season 2, which is the period of Clone Wars where like young Boba Fett teams up with Aura Singh, and we see all those bounty hunters throughout season 2, that whole big arc. So I think she's
coming back. In there 2 down from her in the same scene.
Which one?
Is that Dengar in there in that same scene with her there?
That looked like him, right? Yeah, with the wraps. That had to be him. And then one of the Pikes, the Lam Pike, the one that's the other bounty hunter that's with Lots Roddy, is voiced by Matt Lanter, which I didn't realize. I think that's the most of Matt Lanter we're going to see in this entire section, because there's no Anakin in these episodes, or Ahsoka for that matter.
I am somewhat distracted by the 2 like rangefinder headstock ones. Just Mandalorian helmets just look too much like Optimus Prime.
I like this guy with his hat. Reminds me of the guy from Mortal Kombat with the
sturdy hat. Yeah,
exactly. Kung Lao.
Yeah.
Oh, now the saber's out.
There we go. Saber time.
I love the way the animation of the Darksaber is just. I've always been fascinated by it. The way they do the sort of the trailing of it.
Yeah,
I mean, in between frames are just these odd polygons where you see the whole motion.
This time it looks a lot more white for the glow than yellow.
Yeah, it does now.
Yeah.
He's just beating on that dude's hat.
Yeah, Savage should have been able to kill him pretty easily, but then they just threw him to the side. It's like, no, I want to bring these guys back for more stories at a later time.
Yeah.
I will say this didn't go well for the Hutts, and that's rare. Usually things work out for them in general. Like the Hutts have been like truly slippery throughout like Star Wars. Like they seem to always, even if someone individually dies or something like Jabba, like the Hutts seem to prevail on a large scale. Yeah, not this one though. Oof.
No. Bye-bye.
Some of the character designs of the Hutts are a little weird to me, I think.
He doesn't seem big enough, right?
No, he does not.
Weirdly distorted.
Yeah. So some of that Clone Wars stuff is really wild. Like they always show that side by side of Christopher Lee and then the Count Dooku from Clone Wars. And it's like, who did this? What Picasso version of Dooku did you find?
Yeah, very, very stylized.
Yeah.
And then Mace Windu versus Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. They are cousins, not brothers. Oh, okay. So when I was rewatching this, I was like, Jabba's palace. I was like, yes, it's going to be our Bib Fortuna moment. Bib Fortuna is not in the castle. And I was screaming because I remember thinking, I was like, Bib's in every time period. He's in the prequels. We saw him in episode 1. We know that he's in the Bad Batch. He obviously made his premiere in Return of the Jedi. And he got shot unceremoniously at the start of Book of Boba Fett, which puts him in the age of the New Republic. So he's made his time, but I forgot that he actually isn't in the Clone Wars really. And he's definitely not in this little scene either. I was so mad because I was like pausing the episode thinking, did I miss him in a cameo? Maybe I just didn't want to build the animation model for this. I don't know. It's weird he's not there.
Because they've got everybody else, just random different characters. Why didn't? I don't know.
It makes no sense.
No outsider ever rule Mandalore. Well, that went well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. I'm watching with the closed captioning on, and that's like it's
Yeah, me too.
actually in Chinese.
Mhm. It's a big old Gamorrean guard. The Book of Boba Fett ones are a little more in shape.
Svelte.
Well, the Mando season 2 ones, the pit fighters are like,
Oh yeah, they.
oh,
Mhm. That was really cool watching the boxing match or whatever that was.
yeah.
I was nervous that it was going to be like a fight to the death. And I was like, oh, they've got those shields, which I've been calling the Dune shields for a while now. And I thought that all that stunt work and visual effects and everything really came together to feel really real. Looked really cool. Mando's crushing it in every way. Like if there's a peak Star Wars component to the Disney era, it's probably Mando season 1.
Right.
Yes. And if you're missing what's going on right now, it's the exposition about the politics of Star Wars yet again. That's what we're
A lot of that in these episodes, even though they're among my favorites. They're once you've heard it once, you're good. As a new viewer, you probably need the info, but it's like I already knew this. Also, like I love when they just keep telegraphing how they're all going to betray each other, like that loudly too. It's like we're going to turn on him as soon as we're done. A shot of every minion,
But don't tell anybody.
Exactly.
Right there.
That was a beautiful last shot of Jabba's palace, though. I think that was.
They put all that money into the palace. They couldn't afford Bib.
Your husband must have been so upset about that.
Oh, yeah, so mad. I'm gonna hit the and then pause. No, pause. There we go. Okay. Yeah, good. Very good episode.
Oh yeah.
Reserved great and excellent for the ones to follow, but very, very good.
I liked how nonchalant Maul was. We was sitting on the throne, like he had like one leg up. He was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Like
there's your shades of Marvel and Thor's hammer. It's that there's Loki sitting in the throne. It's Maul's.
Yep.
Pretty much. So we're at first break. Let's first talk about the episode, Jeff.
It's interesting to see how things unfold, and I love Maul and Savage together. It's just I wasn't reading as much of my subtitles as I should have to make sure I was catching everything, because like I said, I hadn't seen it in a while. But it just some of those fights and other things are always so much fun to watch. So it's just enjoying the visuals.
Absolutely. Dave.
I mean, I'm with Jeff. It's really enjoyable to watch. Like we were talking about, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of politics. This is what's going on. We're gonna do this, but you're seeing the Mandalorians en masse, dropping in and having this big battle. I mean, this is what we wanted to see. This,
yeah.
When this happened in Mando is, that's what's going on, and just dropping ships full of Mandalorians, and they're doing the jetpack fighting. It's like, okay, we're fighting over here. We jetpack to the other side of the room. We're fighting over there. And so, I mean, great episode.
Mark, so we're at the end of this episode 14. Where are we right now?
So right now, Maul still has the Pre-Vizzler still has the Darksaber. He is teaming up with Maul and Savage. They're the new entrants into this mix right now. Bo-Katan seems to be unfazed by the fact that Darth Maul tried to kill her, which proves she's a little bit crazy, a little bit of a badass. And yeah, I'm excited to see the next episode where things really start to get chaotic. I mean, we've now built the axis of evil allies that Pre Vizsla and Bo-Katan, teaming with Maul and everyone else pulled together. What was the list? It was Death Watch, Maul and Savage, Black Sun, Pikes, and then finally the Hutts. And they were all going to team up now and cause havoc on Mandalore in the next episode. And Duchess Satine will be back to manage that havoc. So that's going to be fun to watch.
Do we know at this point, I get confused in what we've seen and what we've not, that Bo is Satine's sister? Do we know that? Is that a surprise?
No, we will find that out when Obi-Wan, well, I guess Obi-Wan Kenobi will find that out after the big spoiler reveal, the confrontation with Maul and Satine.
So it doesn't have that that we know now. It doesn't have that heavy, like, oh, she's is plotting against her. We don't have that quite yet.
I'm trying to remember, because when we met her and she teams, I don't think so. I don't think we know yet.
Okay.
I gotta double check. This is what happens when you watch things too many times. Like the knowledge is already there, right?
Well, and completely not in order again either, because you might have watched these 3 episodes over and over again, but did you lead like the 4 that are intermixed that led up to this?
There is a family piece that I want to get into, maybe either after the next episode or whatever else, because we're going to meet another. That's the next one. Another. That's actually not the next one. Sorry, I'm having a tech issue over here. There's another family member we're going to meet, and I am confused as to how he is actually part of the family. I think there's another scene there.
I have some theories.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we're finished with the first episode, and during our second break, we do a new segment called the Ruby's Rollout, talking about the new products that are coming out. So, Mark, why don't you tell us what, there's been a lot of stuff on the Twitter lately.
Yes. So last week was the big news with the Stormtrooper kit coming out, and we got a lot of responses to that. Thank you to everyone who emailed us asking for details. People wanted instruction sheets already. We're not there yet, but we'll be shipping product in Q2, which is April through June, of the Stormtrooper kit. It's first order, comes with like the armor to build and everything. Members of the 501st were emailing. They were very excited about that. That's fantastic. We have an add-on to that this week, the neck seal. I'm going to see if this comes through on the image. You can barely see it. A little bit.
We can kind of see it.
But yeah, this is the premium neck seal that would go under your helmet or under your armor. The armor itself comes with gaskets to wear for the rest of your body, but the neck seal is good when you wear a helmet. So this is ready to go now. And we just put that out today. And then next week, we're going to have the pauldrons ready. So if you want to be an officer, there'll be red pauldrons, black pauldrons, and white pauldrons. They're made of leather, and they come in a plastic case. So it's all about the Stormtrooper kit and everything related to Stormtroopers for the months, these weeks in March. And then coming a little bit later, we just put out the Kylo Ren helmet, which I don't know if I talked about last week, but this is the Kylo Ren episode 9. This one just went up a little while ago also. This is made of fiberglass and metal and has the red paint cracks in there. Really hard to see on this picture. That's our first new product, one that wasn't part of the Anovo's back order that they had started.
Right.
And we do have another new helmet coming at the end of the month. And then, as I mentioned last week, we're also working on the Sabine helmet for a little bit later in the year. So a lot of great stuff in the hopper at the moment. But yeah, it's all Stormtrooper right now, which is kind of crazy.
Fantastic. And I know they're, crazy popular, especially after season 1 Mandalorian, where they pulled in 501st members to fill in the Navarro scene. So people are like, well, if they need Stormtroopers, we're ready.
Yeah.
But very exciting stuff. So thank you for everybody who is watching with us in the chat right now. I hope you're enjoying these episodes. Yes, my expression about that Kylo helmet. And a funny story about that was that I think it was November when we were having our meetup at Dave & Buster's during Rhode Island Comic Con. I actually said to Mark, like, you know what you really need is a Rise of Skywalker Kylo Ren helmet. And he's like, oh, actually, and I'm like, okay. So very, very excited. Yes, everybody knows that Kylo's my boy. Huge Kylo Ren fan. So very, very excited for that. One of my favorite pieces that I have in my collection is a steampunked version of the Black Series helmet, actually signed by Adam. So it's like one of my centerpieces that I have. So it's Kylo Spence. That's my net handle on Xbox and other places as well. So
Cool.
and perhaps you should know that by the fact that you let me have the SDCC figure that we found in Chicago when we were going toy hunting. You know, you really wanted it, but you saw my face, so you let me have it. So thank you very much. Hey, you know, you find a toy that you like and someone else loves it more, it happens. So we're about to watch episode 15. In front of it right now, the main title is In Memory of Ian Abercrombie. So if you all queued up to the next episode, which is episode 15 in season 5, we will start up again in 10 seconds. So we'll start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. This is a 26-minute episode, so it's pretty long for a Clone Wars.
What the last one was too, was it? Was it? Maybe not.
I thought it was a little less, I think. Morality separates heroes and villains. Why every one of these can be like translated to like today's society and current events?
If it's time.
The conspirators. Is this the Book of Maul?
Yes.
It could be.
I'm sorry, Auntie. Oh, there's your pal Quirky.
Yeah, I think Crimson Dawn would be a really interesting Disney Plus series with Maul and Kira as the leads. I'd watch that. You know, that's the criminal bounty hunter crime syndicate show that I think would really resonate. I still wonder though, like, how can you do so many scenes with Maul if you're going to have it split between Rey and Sam? It's not the same as having a helmet where you have to see the lips move.
Right.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It works in that one hologram scene, but I heard that took forever to get right. So,
well, I mean, after the whole controversy, unfortunately, with Rey, people were thinking, well, they'll just give it to Sam. You know, it's fine. But, you know, Rey's Rey no matter what, if you however you slice it, you know.
Yeah, I think replacing him with like a generic stunt actor would be poorly received by the fans.
Just give it to Sam if you're going to do it, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, we need Vizzler as the face for now.
Yeah, but later everybody will be wearing pointy helmets and like us. It'll be fun.
I'm so glad you pointed out the armor having the spikes on her helmet. It was something I noticed when we first saw pictures of her. And I was like, that reminds me of the helmets from Clone Wars when everyone was loyal to Maul. And then you start picking up on like all these little things. Like I eventually want to see her and Bo-Katan throw down. I think that's
I've been waiting for that as well.
Like
especially after this last.
Yeah, the competing mentalities and probably like she talks some terrible things about my Bo-Katan. So you know, and behind her back, she didn't have a chance to defend herself. So
right,
pretty much saying that Mandalore was cursed because of her. That's a lot. I want to see that fist fight.
But if you think about that also as well, we talk about the one of the more horned versions of Maul's troop was Gar Saxton, and Ray Stevenson is announced to show up during Obi-Wan, but as someone else.
Right, because Gar Saxon is not alive.
Nope.
We know that. Gar Saxon. So by the way, I missed a name last week. It was Gar Saxon. That's the one who Sabine beat in battle to get the Darksaber, to earn the Darksaber, right? She didn't take it from him, but like she defeated him in the lightsaber fight, which then got her mom and everyone else from Clan Ren and everyone else to rally behind her. So Gar Saxon plays an important part because she partnered with Fen Rao and defeated Gar Saxon. I'm checking my notes down here. Just keep track of everything. And Ray Stevenson, I'm curious to see who he could be playing in this new, it's in the Ahsoka show. So it could be anyone, honestly. It could be a flashback. Or he could be a brand new character.
Well, actually, I think they said that he was playing an admiral, but he was not playing Thrawn.
Oh, right. You had mentioned that. The Navy is big.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even need to be someone we know. It just so happens that he's like a pretty famous name.
Right.
We never got him to sign when I was there either. Every time I hear an actor name, I'm like, were they in my autograph sets? Were they not? What do I need to get them in? It's a sickness, and it will not stop. Even when I watch Book of Boba Fett, I pause at the end to look at the list.
Oh, I do too. I take a picture of it to say, okay, who can I TTM? Who do I think is going to be at a con? What I'm going to get. I mean, right now, Echo Base has got Phil Lamar, and I'm like, okay, well, he's got two characters in Fett. So I was like, all right, I got to get them both now. So it's kind of like.
I love Phil Lamar. He's terrific and easy to work with. And I met him separate from like outside of work at a show, and he was delightful because I love Futurama also.
Right.
And he's terrific in that.
Love him and Family Guy as Ollie.
Bryce is going, can we get a Savage saber? And I'm struck.
I was thinking the same thing.
The Savage saber looks like the new Maul saber, but with like the Dooku guard on it.
What was the Shadow Saber?
Yeah,
that's the attachment to
without the holes, though, right?
Right.
I don't know if it has the holes where you can see the crystal through or not. It's got some detailing that reminds me of that, but I don't know if it's like, excuse me, lit like that.
So what we just witnessed in the show is Maul and everyone, his various crime syndicates just blew up a bunch of places, killed a bunch of people, caused chaos everywhere. It looks like Satine can't keep control of the city or the country or the planet or the system, right? And so then Vizzler shows up, so with Bo-Katan, just by happenstance, being like, "Don't worry, we'll save the day." And so it's obviously coordinated, and it's a propaganda attack, and they're going to make Satine look weak. But it's also like so heavy-handed and obvious, and like I guess as a viewer, we know that's what's happening, but like, doesn't it feel really suspicious that like they're just going to clean this up in a hot second? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And it just strikes me that Satine's Mandalorians are just like such like candy ass Mandalorians that look like fake RoboCops. Like what kind of armor has an open face? Why, people?
I wonder too if like she's in the capital, right? So Coruscant or Mandalore City, we only know the planet name, right?
Yeah.
Could be softer than like the Outer Rim. And the other planets that are a bit more barbarian or warlike. That's the only thing I could really think there, because I feel like that's true in a lot of places. It's like the Wild Wild West out there on the frontier.
Right.
But yeah, this certainly the rule by pacifism isn't working for her, and she's being pretty easily taken advantage of, which I hate because like I agree with her ideals. They're just not actualizing correctly.
See, now here, this is what really disturbs me about the character of Bo-Katan that you see here. Is like she's playing it up enough that where she's going to the kids, "Oh, you're safe now. I'm not working with those guys. I just saved you." No, sweetie, you didn't need to do that to the children. That's just
That look, she wants to rule. And she's willing. Here's in the back of her mind, you have to imagine that she's smart enough to know how this is going to end, and it's going to end in violence. And knowing her sister's going to be caught in the crosshairs. She doesn't necessarily know that Satine will die, but certainly she'll end up in prison. She's willing to throw her sister into prison at the very least, right? So what type of morals does she have if her end goal of becoming the most powerful person in Mandalore not only involves like a lot of collateral damage, but imprisoning your sibling, if not then leading to her death? And I don't think she's shown any remorse for it either. We haven't seen in Rebels or anywhere else her actually really like mourn her sister. Like, I don't remember her being sad at any point. I think she feels defeated because Mandalore didn't go well, but I don't think that she actually has like shed a tear. And I don't know if that's like just an oversight in the writing or like she's just hard.
I don't know. I thought, maybe it's my headcanon, but I thought I had seen like a scene where she was talking to Obi-Wan and like, oh, I'm sad, but maybe not. I might have invented that.
I think that even Obi-Wan like recovers from Satine's death very quickly. He just like jumps on a speeder bike and they're like, let's get out of here. And I was like, can you please have a breakdown of some sort for us? Like James Arnold Taylor cry a little. Like that would be wonderful.
Kenobi.
Oh, there's Concordia. So Concordia, which keeps coming up. They keep mentioning that in The Mandalorian and in Book of Boba Fett. That's where everyone was exiled to, which is how they ended up surviving the Night of 1,000 Years.
So
there she is. She's in a box.
Yeah. That scene before it was just so very Third Reich. And it's like, you are electing a chancellor from something called Death Watch.
Yeah.
They
have economic fears, potentially. I like that she's next to this jerk. That's the kicker. Oh, and by the way, he's in prison. We didn't watch those episodes. He's in prison from the episodes that we skipped in the Mandalore episodes, because we're just doing Darksaber episodes, but we skipped 2 episodes, and I can bring it up now and we can get it into later. Corruption and the Academy. And of course, corruption, it could be the title of the Clone Wars, but it's actually corruption happening on Mandalore with this guy. And he's like paying off the docks or something. It's all tied to actually working with criminal syndicates. And the Academy is when Ahsoka goes to Mandalore and like literally teaches the children, that's when we meet Corky and the other kids who help unravel the plot. But we can use the break after this episode to talk Corky.
Yeah.
Yes, I know you've been waiting for that.
Yeah, but you have no idea.
Thank you, everybody who's been joining us tonight. I hope you've been enjoying, our conversations, our discussing everything.
Okay, Bo-Katan is pointing a gun at Darth Maul. How do we think that's going to go? Like,
and Mandalorians just carry handcuffs.
Well, they had one made for Grogu, so
there you go.
I still find that disturbing. They
just grabbed some thumb cuffs and threw them on
Grogu. Handcuffs.
I mean, the Empire kidnapped children all the time, so
yeah.
And probably
the Sith did, and the Empire did. Like, children get abducted all the time in Star Wars. It seems to actually be like quite a problem. There it is, the chanting of it. You know how it's like, democracy dies with thunderous applause. It's the same thing over here. Yeah, all the poetry, it rhymes. There's a lot of rhyming.
Yeah, I loved you always. Cue the Sarah McLachlan music.
And here goes the triple cross. What? I don't know.
Yeah,
So it's
jail
always
would be the place to look for the right person.
it's now like now Savage Press is doing like the Vicky Valancourt, just like that Fennec Shan was. Can we kill him now? Can we kill him now? No.
Fennec Shand is my spirit animal because she has zero patience. And of course Boba is very methodical, I guess, and sort of even keeled and willing to listen to reason. And then Fennec Shand is like, when can I stab someone? And I just want to be her friend. Like that sounds like a fun time.
She has 0 F's to give.
Yeah, truly. And once she's like set free to do it, like when she assassinates everyone in the in the finale, including hanging the mayor, I was like, this is on Disney Plus.
That's exactly what I said. We had Chris Bartlett and Leilani Shu on a show like that. I'm like, this is a Disney show right now.
Yeah.
And we're seeing like, Trandoshan being hung and people like shot all one scene. It's like, oh my god, you can see Cad Bane getting shanked, with a gaffy stick. It's kind of like, damn, dude.
It was brutal. I thought the finale was just so brutal. It was also ridiculous, him riding the Rancor and everything. There's funny, there's levity mixed in, but like that scene with Fennec killing those guys, I was like, you don't need an army. Just assign her the task and you're good to go.
The cavalry.
She is the cavalry, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, I think Disney is starting to embrace their darker Disney side again. I mean, they're talking about, another Deadpool movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing all the Netflix Marvel shows. You know what I'm talking about? All those are all edgy and stuff.
I'm very, very intrigued to see how they handle that, especially season 1 with Kingpin, the car scene. That's gonna be on Disney Plus. Like, okay.
So I heard that they're just gonna age restrict. So now when you log into Disney Plus, you can buy each person's account, set an age parameter. So if you're dad, you have access to everything, but if you're one of the kids, it's locked, and maybe dad's is password protected. Then if you want to set that parental control, that would be the way to do it, because then I want to see everything. I want the Deadpool, I want the Marvel shows. I'm also going to watch Encanto. My niece is obsessed, and we watched it.
I love it.
This is amazing. So then my husband and I watched it on our own. There was no child present. It was just us. And I was like, Encanto's great. Like, we're thinking about Bruno. It's good. It's good stuff.
Well, the thing I was also thinking about is if, first time you see Karen and Daredevil, she's topless. And I'm thinking about, okay, Disney Plus, they extended Daryl Hannah's hair in Splash, which is nothing for us when we were kids in the 80s. But now I'm like, okay, someone's butt versus someone's breast. Like,
look, if they age restrict, they can do what they want. Like in other markets that are non-America, Disney Plus carries the R-rated and PG-13 movies. So it's really just they just need to set the parameter. Meanwhile, this is a big deal. We're having the lightsaber fight. Okay. The Darksaber is currently in the hand of Pre Vizzler. They are fighting for control of the Darksaber and control of Mandalore right now. And by the way, like the fact that Pre Vizzler even puts up a decent fight is amazing. Amazing. And he did it against Obi-Wan also. So this guy gets a lot of credit for being confident and actually, I think, doing a much better job than anyone could have, who's not force sensitive in this position.
Right. Using all his tricks.
Yeah. But Maul is kind of, he's not holding back, but he's not using everything he could. He hasn't force choked him or pulled him out of the air.
Yeah. And I don't really know why. Like, I don't know why he's just going for like hand to hand, like saber
fighting. And he keeps getting struck. He got hit in the face. He got hit with those little throwing star things.
Yeah.
I guess he's getting elbowed.
I do love this fight. It's so beautifully choreographed and drawn. Talking more about those shapes you were talking about earlier, the way the Darksaber creates those weird shapes with the motion. So cool.
Yeah. And just the dark thing with the weird glowy edge. It's like mesmerizing.
Oh,
And snap.
yeah.
Ooh.
Now this would be a great time to have the Force and just pull that thing right back in my hand.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep.
This is the one time that Bo-Katan looks sad. It's like you backed the wrong horse.
Ashley asked, she wonders if Obi-Wan had the flashbacks like when he got the Leia transmission. A flashback of this when he got the Leia transmission.
Well,
And
Some
Now,
good
is that-
cinematography too.
is that the first time we see a real close-up of the Darksaber there with the little crackles down the? I hadn't seen it in the other episodes we were watching. Like what? Right when he extends it the first time.
No outsider will ever rule Mandalore.
Why'd she give him his saber then?
I know, she's the one who threw it to him.
Exactly.
That happened last time too, where Pre Vizsla gave Obi-Wan his lightsaber for whatever fair fight duel kind of thing. This is where at some point it's like, I don't care what your by the book sort of rules might be. Like you should have just killed Darth Maul when you had a chance.
But then again, it's fair
Brought it on
fight. We
yourself.
throw him his saber, yet we're using thermal detonators and blasters, and
Yeah. And now we're gonna get a lot more dead Mandalorians. Like it's just, Bo-Katan
Inevitable.
escapes. And now Almec is gonna take over. So he's the new face because Pre Vizsla's dead. Okay, so going through the Darksaber list of people who have had the Darksaber, 2 are dead so far. I mean, Tar Vizzler probably died of like old age or something.
Right.
We don't think he was potentially killed over it, though. I'm
900
sure
years.
he had a life of violence because of the Darksaber. People were probably always after it. If he was ruling Mandalore, maybe his rule was challenged. We don't really know. There's not a lot there. I think that would be an interesting dig site for comics, for any other type of media. I'm sure there's a ton of fan fiction out there. And now Pre Vizsla, who's really only the second confirmed owner that we know about, though we know there's a long list in between.
Right.
He's dead. So we're 2 for 2 over here on people who have the Darksaber end up dead.
Right.
And certainly a lot of collateral damage around it. This thing is a nightmare.
This choreography between Maul and Sidious is absolutely insane.
Yeah, that fight's coming up. 2 in a row, like back to back, amazing lightsaber fights in 2 episodes. Whatever they were doing with the stunt people to like capture all this and make the animatics and everything, amazing work.
I mean, if you look at Rey and Laurie Mary Kim from season 7 Clone Wars, I mean, just incredible.
Yeah, that's one of the top 5 fights for sure in all the Star Wars.
If you get the chance to meet Laura Mary Kim, I absolutely recommend it. She was great at Rhode Island, and she's going to be this weekend at Capicola.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to meet her in Rhode Island.
Yep.
And she was delightful, as was her agent, Justin. He was very cool.
Justin's a good friend of the group. Actually, Frank and I helped get them into Rhode Island, so it was nice to that. But yeah, that was an absolutely insane episode. You had a lot of death in there of major characters, and you see the biggest, the thing that would have changed the outcome of Obi-Wan completely. Satine, said that she wanted to be with him and didn't die. That would have been saga changing, and then seeing the whole everything going on with Maul and Savage Press and Palpatine, just absolute crazy. But Mark, let's talk about your theories.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, just to recap on that episode, Shades of Reason 9.1 according to IMDb, one of only a handful of episodes ranked over a 9. It is in the top 10 of all Clone Wars episodes, and rightfully so. I thought it was spectacular. Do you want to talk Corky? Is now the moment.
We could talk
Oh.
Corky.
Yeah.
Go.
So we're going to meet him in the next episode. Corky Kryze is the nephew of Satine Kryze and the nephew of Bo-Katan Kryze. Now, I'm no math major, but in order for that to be true, there needs to be a third sibling. There needs to be a brother or a sister of Satine or Bo-Katan, or he's using aunt as a non-family thing, as like just like a family friend or whatever. But we don't know who his parents
It's
are.
Irish, yeah.
Yeah, like I have a lot of aunts and uncles, people that I call aunt and uncle that are my mom and
Right.
dad's best friends. That's like a thing.
Exactly.
But like
Right.
he seems to make it clear that he is bloodline. And I was reading through the Wikipedia and like every article I could find. You know, the Star Wars databank is no help. They give you like 2 sentences. But like the Wookiee and everything else does say explicitly that he is the nephew of Satine, and he was groomed to like rule in government. Like he was learning the ways of becoming a politician and problem solving. And it's why like the episodes that we skipped over in the Mandalorian stuff, the Academy, is I think a must watch. It's not like ranked terribly high. Like it's not a 9 over episode in according to IMDb rating, but I think it's an excellent episode. For a couple of reasons, aside from the fact that we meet Corky, who's I just love, and I know he's only in a couple of episodes, another weird one that you just sort of latch onto. But Ahsoka really gets to shine in that episode. They send her over to Mandalore to teach a lecture to all these kids on like what it means to be good citizens. And by good citizens, it's not like obeying your government. It's actually like challenging your government and trying to like root out corruption, which is hilarious because like the Republic is so corrupt and the Jedi are a disaster. So like everything about it is just perfection. And they do uncover that horrible plot. So it's a great episode. Highly recommend, but it leaves us with the big question: who is Corky Kryze? Do we think that he is actually the son of Satine via Obi-Wan, or the son of Bo-Katan through anyone? Like, who could he be?
Kenobi. Totally.
Skywalker.
Yeah,
It's possible.
Bite your tongue.
Look, we met, knowing that Obi-Wan is Satine's, then boyfriend or whatever. She could have had other boyfriends, like, or anyone else, right? Bo-Katan, I mean, like, she has red hair, Satine has blonde hair, the kid has blonde hair. The hair color doesn't necessarily need to be genetic the same way it is on Earth or whatever, but color matching makes you think he's more connected to Satine. And he constantly refers to himself as Satine's nephew, not Bo-Katan's nephew, which almost made me think he's Bo-Katan's son. And he doesn't know it. Like there was this almost secret to it. But either way, like he's still alive as far as we know. Like I couldn't get any confirmation, and he would be about the same age as Ahsoka. So if Ahsoka has a live action show where she's in her 40s, if I'm doing the math on that correctly, or maybe late 40s, early 50s, so would he. He wouldn't be that much older than any of us. So in theory, he could pop up in Mando. He'd actually be younger than Boba Fett. He'd be older than Mando.
Boba Fett's not supposed. I mean, Tamora is a lot older than he's supposed to be being.
Yeah, the character's supposed to be like 41 or something.
You're right. He's younger than Tamora, but older than Boba Fett. But Boba Fett is younger than Ahsoka by a few years. So he in theory could like show up in Book of Boba Fett or Mando. He's my dark horse for like gonna pop up and everyone's gonna be like, who the hell is this kid? Truly, like they're giving us people we know so far as the popping up. Like Luke popped up, Ahsoka has popped up. We met Cad Bane. Like Cad Bane is as deep as it's gotten so far. Or I guess like Timothy Oliphant's character is really only a book character, right? So he's probably deeper, even more so than the Wookiee. But like if Corky Kryze popped up in Book of Boba Fett, I think even most hardcore fans would be like, who the hell is that?
Right. I want to give a quick shout out to Leilani Shu, who's actually watching with us right now. I hope you had a great time in London for your first tour. It was great seeing the pictures of that. I'm looking forward to meeting you and seeing you at the Bunta Eve Cantina.
Oh, there you go. Shameless plug. Plug.
I'm always about to shameless plug. But Dave, you said you had some theories about Corky.
Oh, I mean, it's completely you're going with Aunt because you're hiding his true parentage. That's Star Wars canon right there.
Mhm.
Let's hide Luke in plain sight. We don't even change his last name. We just say, oh, he's a Skywalker. This is Aunt Beru. So, I mean, it's not without precedence that that could be done. And, you know, hinting to lineage of a Jedi who is the creator of said Darksaber and the Mandalorian heritage.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, they would have to go really deep to come in with that. They could go a lot of other ways. Grogu is a much, you know, more obvious. He's a Jedi. He's a Mandalorian. Okay, hand him Darksaber. But
Yep.
but then again, it's Filoni who is really fond of bringing his animated characters into live action, and pretty deep cut that you could go. It's just make him a Kenobi, bring him in, tie all the little loose ends together. I don't know.
And given that there is a Kenobi show happening, we could find out. You know, I know it's supposed to be Kenobi and Anakin, and it's all about him versus Darth Vader. He may wax poetic about the mistakes he made and how he ended up here, and he could have just been happy living with his wife and child out on Mandalore or somewhere, you know. I'm going to help build on your theory. I like the idea that he could be the son of Satine.
I mean, I mean, obviously there's a lot of rumors about what's going on. You know, they talked about with Kenobi that, you know, one of the reasons he has to leave the planet is because Bail Organa calls him. I'm just reading from things I read that Bail calls him, said that Leia was kidnapped. I need your help in this whole scenario. But there's been talk that they're finally gonna, you know, we're gonna get Liam to show up.
Force
Ghost Qui-Gon, which should be, you know, great considering the fact that there is a Funko Pop from 2017 Celebration that has been Force Ghost Qui-Gon. But yeah, but it's all good. But I'm very, very, very excited about all the product. You know, we're getting a lot. I mean, we were talking about it earlier that, you know, we're going to get de-aged Hayden, and Hayden's going to be playing Anakin and Vader in various formats, whether it be Vader in the Bacta tank and then Anakin in flashback. But, you know, one thing that we've noticed from the Filoniverse is that he likes to take animated scenes and turn it live action, or take a live action scene and then turn it, you know, into animation, and it's step by step. So if we get to see some of the Clone Wars in live action with Ewan and Hayden, I mean, that'd be absolutely incredible. I'm okay with that. You know, it just ties into the bigger, broader strokes of the storylines. I mean, I don't know. I'm excited about everything again. We're getting Star Wars like we got Marvel last year. So, you know, 4 to 5 properties this year alone just for Star Wars, which is awesome. And they, you know, they released, I guess, a week ago the movie lineup, and 2023 they're still saying Rogue Squadron. So, and that was a list that was listed last week for Star Wars. But we'll see. But anywho, we're up to our final episode for the night, which is episode 16 of season 5 of the Clone Wars. But if everybody's ready, we'll start the countdown. We'll do a 5-second countdown for this particular one. So hopefully everybody who's watching at home and playing at home can catch up. So we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah, that's where we saw the in memory of.
Yes.
I never got to meet him, and I don't think we ever got him to sign autographs when he certainly didn't sign when I was there at Topps. So I know his autograph is actually pretty rare and hard to find. He was a great Palpatine too. All of them have been really good. I love Tim Curry's version, and of course, when Ian came back for Rebels, I like lost my mind. Like that was so cool. But yeah, he was a delightful Palpatine. He brought like this weird like lightness to the voice as when he was not Sidious. that was a little bit different than Ian did in the prequels.
Oh,
Yeah,
here he is.
to me, it was still okay. There's
Oh.
Frankenfurter playing Sidious. So
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Corky's here with both his potential moms. Yeah, Auntie, she's on our side now. Well, I don't trust him either then. But like, this is heavy, right? Like, she put you in jail. They did break her out at least.
Yeah, but there's no like, she's all pacifist. There's no anything like smack her. And,
I punch her right in the face, armor on or not. I don't even care. At least get out a blaster, girl. Get a blaster.
Nope.
Corky got way bigger. Like, he was so much younger looking in season 2, and I don't think that much time has passed. Isn't the Clone Wars 2 years long?
I don't know. The Clone Wars just with the animated series, it went on for.
No, I mean, like, true timeline wise.
No, I get you what you're saying.
3. Like, I think it's only a couple years.
Yeah.
I love that armor with the red.
Yeah, some of those decos are insane.
I will say, the Mandalorian mercs and all of the other like not 5.0 first groups that do like sort of customized armor and everything. There was a lot of those at Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yeah,
they take inspiration from this stuff and they kind of then make it their own. I love that stuff. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't need to be canonical for me. Like, if you want to make your armor bright orange, go for it. It's just such a cool look.
right.
This is
Oh yeah,
There
you're
you go.
I built that's got a different kind of color scheme.
Ooh.
That's very cool looking.
I like the blue shades of blue, and then I went with this kind of day glow green visor, which I think looks really cool. And then something closer to the Mando,
Oh wow.
but with a little slightly variation in terms of color as well.
What's the like structure of that? Is that like sort of Django with
Based on a Boba Fett helmet. So it's just sort of, I played with the ears and stuff and made it my own, but sort of generic.
Oh,
Corky
get
just
jail.
got knocked out. Oh, those guys have one guy had horns. As far as we know, though, Corky's not dead. That was he just got knocked unconscious for a second. But I think that's it. I think that's the entirety of his appearance, really.
We don't see him actually meet Obi-Wan. That would be like,
yeah, be like, Dad.
I guess not. It's like, because you'd be like, oh, as a presence I have not felt. That's my kid. Wait, what?
Right, exactly. This isn't okay. These are another one of my moments where the Jedi Council pretty much always makes the wrong decisions, and because they're entangled with the government, we're now stuck in this sort of stalemate, right? And it's a ruse. It's a way to get Obi-Wan to show up on his own, because Maul knows that he can't bring Jedi backup or clones or anything that would be government related, because Mandalore is a neutral planet. So it's a little bit complicated, but it's a smart plan. But also, there's got to be a workaround. Like, bring a friend. Like, I keep throwing out the name Plo Koon. I mentioned him last week. I was like, a few of you could go. Like, you're not all deployed. In fact, 9 of you are sitting around the temple. So for all the clone warring you're doing, like, you're constantly in conference meetings. Like, I don't know.
And plus, how many times has Filoni said that Plo Koon is his all-time favorite character, and he was actually, if you read the art of season 2 Mandalorian book, you see a lot of prototypes for Plo Koon instead of Luke.
Yeah.
Yep. When we were thinking, if it weren't going to be Luke, it would have to be like Ahsoka, right? And if it weren't going to be Ahsoka, there aren't that many live Jedi left. Plo Koon we know is dead, but like, I wouldn't mind popping him into kind of anything. Like, I just think he's got an interesting character design. He's also a fascinating character. He is the one who brought Ahsoka to the temple. Like he's the one who not got her or kidnapped her. What's the, brought her in to be a Jedi. Right. So he's got an intimate connection to Ahsoka from the get-go. And that's maybe why I think Dave is so attached to the character as well. Like the connection to Ahsoka.
Right.
Oh, here comes Obi-Wan in this crappy ship. I mean, he knows he's flying into a trap. Yoda knows he's flying into a trap. They all have to keep it secret. But like, why wouldn't Anakin have gone with him? Or Ahsoka or someone? Like, bring like one other person, because as soon as you're kidnapped or something goes wrong, you already know that there's no help for you on Mandalore. Like, you're going to help. And so it's not like you have allies waiting that can aid you if something goes awry. It just makes me crazy.
And he's still all Kenobi inside it. It's perfectly fine. It's
charmingly befuddled.
Don't walk up the ramp with him. No, that never goes well.
Yeah.
I think.
Dave, did you go to the Ashley Matt panel at GalaxyCon last year with everybody?
No, that was the day after I was there. Skip and April and all and that crew was there, but I was not there for that panel.
I saw a clip of it yesterday. I met up with my friend Will, who was with all of them at there, and the way they fished it was Ashley said, "May the force be with you, Sky Guy," and he said, "See you later, Snips." And that's all I saw the clips. I'm like, that could have been the whole panel right there.
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
He could be a Chiss, couldn't he? Or am I just profiling because he's blue?
There you go. It's all in the prisoner transfers.
Taking him to a cell block 1138.
Just
there you go. Start killing people. Kill them faster.
Right.
And he picks like the crappiest little thing. It's like, come on, man.
The Space Vespa.
Yes.
Actually, kind of some.
At least that one looks like a space wave runner or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a Sea-Doo. Get them guns.
Here we go. Yeah, so Obi-Wan didn't know that she had a sister.
Well, see, there you go.
So in theory, Corky should be in prison at the moment.
Yeah.
We just sort of lost the thread on him.
Oh, and there you go. And we crashed because we forgot we had missiles.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Holding on to a greasy.
Ew.
Oh.
And not so good.
Ouch.
So exactly, if you're Obi-Wan, how annoyed are you at this point? Like, it just will not stop.
Mm.
Oh, there you go. Nope.
Would Satine have known that Obi-Wan was in this never-ending feud with Maul, I don't think she would have been privy to that information.
Surely he's mentioned it.
I mean, maybe, but they don't seem to talk very often. And Maul only returned pretty recently.
Right.
I wonder if it's like, remember that guy you thought you chopped in half? It turns out he's back and he took over my planet. Like, what's the deal with that? I thought you killed him.
Well, heads up.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like Black Widow when Natasha thinks she killed Dreykov, and she's talking to her sister about it, and she's like, "He's dead." He's like, "Oh, is he? Do you see the body?"
Yeah.
Right. If you strike me down, I will become more powerful. Wait, that's later.
If you kill me, I'll be around of all times, like your dad. Wait, that's later on in the series.
If you kill me, I'll annoy you from the other side.
Oh, you mean like with Jar Jar in Robot Chicken?
Force Ghost Jar Jar.
Yep.
I will say, Maul, like, if you want to hurt Obi-Wan, this is the answer, right? You don't need to
This is the way to do it. That's what he's saying. Because your emotions betray you.
Yeah.
And that was also the big thing he said, Samus and Press is like, can I kill him? Can I kill him? He's like, no, put him in prison.
Yeah.
We've done our damage,
Oh, this is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And he could have easily killed Obi-Wan right there.
Mm.
Like, it's not about killing him. It's about making him suffer.
Exactly.
That's cold. It's just this is all right. This episode again, it's got a 9.7, 9.8. Where are my numbers? The Lawless is a 9.7. I don't know who voted down those 0.3 points, but this
Tragic
is why. Like, they gave us a philosophy lesson. The best vengeance that you'll see in the series. Just this character Maul was such a throwaway in episode 1. We all thought he was gonna rule that movie and then go on to probably be the main antagonist for the entire prequel trilogy, right? I know I did. There's more merch of that character than anyone else.
He was on every piece of merch. His face was on everything.
And then he had no lines and not a lot of screen time, and it really just came down to that one lightsaber fight. And then in the Clone Wars, he killed Obi-Wan's girlfriend, among many, many other things, but it puts him in the pantheon of the best supervillains.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at, when George recently said, what, his 7, 8, 9 would have been, Maul would have come back with Darth Talon, because he said he always thought there was going to be more to Maul, and it was not going to be as simple as him being sliced up and thrown down a shaft.
Mm.
So what made him do it the first time then? I always, the retconning of that seems really easy.
Nope, blew up a thing. There you go.
Well, if you also look at this as well, so you have Maul and you have the original Fett. Each has 15 minutes of fame, maybe 5 to 10 words between them, and they had the biggest cult following of anything, in the entire saga.
There you go. So see, not Obi-Wan's and Bo's, obviously, because never met her before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Satine had never talked about her during their relationship, the same way Maul had never talked about, or Obi-Wan had never talked about Maul. So what was going on with the two of them? I guess they weren't doing a lot of talking. But there seems to be giant gaping holes in the information that makes up who you are, that maybe were not shared with this partner.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he doesn't even know she has a sister until this point.
Yeah. Well, they obviously seem estranged. Is that the nicest way to say it, right? Meanwhile, I love this. We very rarely get to see a real Darth Sidious, right? Throughout the Clone Wars, he's Palpatine and he's running the Senate, and it's just him looking aggravated as the plan slowly burns. But we rarely see him get to kick ass, and he never pulls out a lightsaber. So this is a treat.
Oh, there's that wrist shield that we saw.
Oh yeah,
the other Vizzler use against Mandalorian.
Yeah, more shields. You had mentioned that last week about, I think, the clone troopers having the shields. Like, there should be more shields everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
And Bo just pulls that dude out of the air and curb stomps him. It's just like, nope, we're done.
Look at this hot mess. When that door opens and there's just chaos everywhere, it reminds me of the SpongeBob meme where SpongeBob and Patrick are like, we saved the city. It's terrible. Oh, Maul, just run. Everyone in this series is arrogant, and they're all biting off way more than they can chew. It seems to be hubris. It's like the big sin, right? Like, Maul really should have just tried to escape. Like, just run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, how long has it been since these two have, like, you know?
Yeah, quite some time. There's two of you. That's a bad sign.
Oof. Not so good.
His force powers are off the charts.
Oh, yeah. That's why the Jedi should have felt his presence so much sooner.
Someone said that he was so powerful he could have masked it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, we're doing a lot of it. The retcon is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
To make that plausible, you know, Shroud of the Dark Side to confuse and all of that. Yeah, it seems obvious to me, but you know.
Well, and this whole thing happens, and Obi-Wan is there while it's all going down, and he just doesn't happen to, like, you know, fly by over there and see, hey, who's what? The guy with red lightsabers battling Maul.
Yeah. Someone brought up the point that, like, Masa Amida, you know, his little assistant,
right,
who we saw in the last episode, or last week when Satine was at the Senate, must know that Palpatine is Darth Maul, or Darth Sidious, or a Sith of some sort. Certainly he knows he's evil because Masa Amida is also evil, but he prepared a ship, and he has an insider sort of look as to everything that Palpatine does. So I think Steve Stanton said that he personally believes that Masa Amida is aware that Palpatine is a Sith Lord. And I was like, okay, I could get behind that.
Yeah. There was your only, like, Bo-Katan grief for Satine, which is just like, oh, she's at narrow your eyes, kick some ass.
Yep. And look, you're fighting for your life at the moment. The adrenaline's going to kick in. But I don't even know if she's sad. I think she's probably concerned that she might have lost some leverage and some allies, and you know, maybe she has a little bit of regret as to the road it took her down, but she doesn't seem broken up about it at all.
Right.
Well, if you also look at Star Wars in general, not many people mourn at all.
Yeah, they've got a stiff upper lip. It's very British.
The only time that you see anybody have any kind of emotion is when Leia dies and you see Chewie fall on his knees.
Oh, and there is Savage.
Oh, heartbreaking. I always loved his character.
So you had alluded that you had a great Sam Witwer story last week. We were talking for this week about you.
I'm making sure because that
from Chicago.
Well, it could ring true for all four of us. Truly, I mean, he's delightful with the fans, and I know you said you got to speak to him at length. So a couple quick things about Sam. He's awesome. And if you ever get to go to a con and he's there, spend the money and get to meet him. You will get closer to a meet and greet than you will just like a quick signing, because he really does want to talk to people. And sometimes he'll tell you a great story. Near the end of the autograph line, I think on like day 2 or whatever, we brought him for several days. He was running hot because of like Solo and everything else happening, and everyone just loves Maul. So he did really, really well at the show. But near the end of one of the days, he got asked like about the fight of him and Steven Stanton in Rebels, and to sort of tell the fans what you think of that like 30-second lightsaber fight, because there were some people who were really disappointed by it, right? Like, I loved it. I thought it was great. But like, there are lots of other fans being like, we were expecting an epic throwdown and this was over in 10 seconds. And so he like gave this whole exposition as to like why that is the smartest way to end this feud, and about how Maul was fueled by anger and rage and blinded and couldn't see correctly like what was right in front of him. So when Obi-Wan tricked him very easily, thinking he was going to be lured back into this exact way that he killed Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan knew exactly what to do by using the leverage against him, like basically letting him be blinded by rage and all of that, and ending it very quickly and giving him a very like quick, almost satisfying, proper, respectful death. But his version of the story was 10 minutes long. I'm there for all of that, like watching, and I didn't realize it was also being recording. So there's just me walking around in the background every now and then, like popping in and out, because I got my headset on, I'm running the autograph line, keep coming back. I was like, he's still talking about this. But that is on the internet somewhere, and it is a great dissertation on that feud and the way it ends with that particular duel. And then that one guy was like, oh, that makes sense now. And I thought that was like the most hilarious part of it at the end, was that one person being like, okay, it was almost like hitting like after like getting all this information spewed to you. But yeah, that's how Sam is. He knows his stuff. And if you have a question about Star Wars, he will answer it for you in depth.
Well, I've always thought it made so much more sense, because that's how like sword fighting fencing is actually going to be. It's don't parry, you screwed up, you're dead.
Yeah, it should be fast.
Yeah, it's not a dance battle like some of the stuff in the prequels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got to meet him and I got my Rebels Maul signed, I had him write, "He will avenge us" on the side panel for me. And he said, okay, so what did you think of the way that Maul was dispatched? And I said to him, well, to me, it spoke that it was a complete parallel of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, how he held them, train Anakin. The same thing. He's like, and that's exactly what Dave Filoni was going for. That's exactly what he told me. So, it's still one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sam is great.
Yeah, I've met him a couple times at 501st Bash and at Galactic Nights in Orlando.
That was fun.
He actually took the selfie that I got of him, me, him, Daniel Logan, and Matthew Wood together. So that was kind of fun.
That's a crew. Those are some of my favorite people from the prequels. If you have a chance to meet Daniel Logan or Matthew Wood, same thing. They're excellent people to meet in person.
One of my favorite things, and I didn't even realize this was happening, but so Daniel, every day of Celebration, took his camera and did a live feed running up and down his line before he started signing. And then, so I was there for one of the days, I was right at the front of the line. And 20 minutes later, I get an Instagram message from a friend from college saying, was this you? And had shared Daniel's video. I'm like, wow. I didn't even tell you that I was even going to Celebration. And Daniel Logan just happens to show it. So he always loves to show his fans,
Mm-hmm. He's fantastic. I will save, because I have numerous Daniel Logan stories. I will try to pick the one or two quick and save it for when we get to Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
That'll keep everyone coming back. I'm going to tease fun Daniel Logan stories to come when we get to Book of Boba.
Stories
He's
you
always
can tell.
cool to encounter. All right. Well, those are great episodes. That last one was pretty intense.
Heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching.
So leaving off where the Darksaber is, I did some digging because Maul got defeated, right? And Palpatine kicked his butt, killed Savage. Right. The Darksaber, Palpatine didn't pay it no mind, right? Like he just knocked it out of him. Apparently, the Darksaber doesn't like Palpatine is never listed as like an owner of the Darksaber, and it's because he doesn't actually take it, even though he defeats Maul in combat.
Has the right to it.
And he doesn't take it with him apparently when he does bring Maul to prison. Maul gets imprisoned somewhere. I wrote it down over here. So it actually the continuity will continue in Son of Dathomir, the comic, and so Maul ends up in a place called the Spire, and he will be in prison there, but then he escapes and he ends up that's how he ends up back in Dathomir eventually. But the Darksaber ends up apparently staying on Mandalore, and then it gets sort of
somebody picks it up off of her.
Maul gets it back, and then it ends up on Dathomir with him in his lair. So somehow he gets it back. There's some stuff that needs to be filled in there. It's unclear. And I did quite a bit of Googling, and Wookiee tried to piece it together as well. But between the comic and the TV show, it looks like Maul was defeated and imprisoned once or twice. And the saber wasn't really with him during that time. But the next person who will have it, it'll be in Maul's lair on Dathomir, and Sabine Wren will pick it up next.
Nice.
Why would Palpatine need Mandalore? You know, he's got everything else in the palm of his hand. You know, literally. So Jeff, what was your thoughts on everything that we watched?
Great episodes. Lots of amazing battles and fights and saber action, and in crazy drama and intense emotional things going on. Great story arc. Those 3 episodes together were really, really cool. Just all around excellent episodes.
Dave.
Well, I'm like a little with what you just said. Is like, why would Palpatine want Mandalore, but why would he care what Maul is doing? Why wouldn't he want Mandalore? He wants everything else. Why? That was an easy way to just remove that, other than the fact that, I mean, would it reveal him as Darth Sidious as opposed to keeping his mask as Palpatine going? Maybe that's kind of the thing. But, power hungry is power hungry. I think this is a great episode. There's tons of stuff going on. There's a few more things I'd like laid out. And it's going like, who is Corky? Who is what the thing is couple of things that, and Star Wars does this with everything. That they do. Like we talked about, Episode 7 of the Book of Boba Fett cleared up a bunch of stuff, but left a bunch of stuff just hanging wide open. That's what it's going to keep us wanting. Okay, Corky Kryze, the early years. Let's see.
Right. Mark.
Yeah, some of my favorites from all of Clone Wars. The Lawless. Individually, I think The Lawless is the best episode of the series, along with the Wrong Jedi. Those are my 2 individual favorite episodes, because I wouldn't count Siege of Mandalore. It's like too much of a movie for me, and you can't just watch the series finale. It's kind of a cop-out. But those 2 episodes are just so excellent, and The Lawless holds up in a variety of ways, with the grief and the sadness when Maul says to share my pain. I was like, oh my God, like these people are dramatic. Satine being killed was brutal. Obi-Wan feels it, and then Savage is killed, and Darth Maul has to experience that pain. So it just comes swinging back, right? And that lightsaber fight was gorgeous. And then even in the shooting, which I hate the shooting, the laser fights were good because they're flying around with jetpacks, and the Mandos are making it work. Like everything Mandalore is excellent. Great conclusion to the 3-episode arc. And yeah, it does springboard though us into places where it's like, well, what happens next? Where did Corky go? What's going to happen with Bo-Katan, which they then start to answer in Rebels. But there's a lot of things left open and we have questions about, and I guess The Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett will continue to fill in, which is why we're going to continue to keep watching. Because haven't you all now fallen in love with Mandalore? And Duchess Satine, RIP. I mean, I will keep watching for more content on any of those fronts.
I mean, I can't say that there is a better episode of Clone Wars other than perhaps
Twin Sons.
Season 7, episode 12.
Victory and Death. Yeah. The finale.
I thought Twin Sons was pretty. We were just talking about Twin Sons a little while ago with dispatching them all. I mean, that was a pretty incredible episode as well.
Well, that's Rebels.
Yeah.
I will do a listicle for Rebels as well. As to what, because I don't think any of them hit above 9.5. I got to double check. But yeah, Twin Sons. For me, it's actually like Secret Cargo, which I know has nothing to do with anything we're talking about today. But like Twin Sons, it's certainly a top 5.
Easily. And the funny thing is that, we talk about, Clone Wars and then Rebels and Bad Batch, and they're very much like, you can easily get confused like I did. It's interchangeable, especially when you got characters involved and, certain situations and all that. But some really good writing and really good, story arcs, which is great. And this is, stuff that George was still involved with, at this particular time, which is great. And this is, the time when he was teaching Dave the craft of the saga, which is awesome. But yeah, so next week we actually have 2 episodes. We're going to be watching from season 7, episodes 9 and 10, before we jump into the Rebels arc. But very, very excited where we're going. This has been a fantastic run of the Path of the Darksaber. I hope that everybody has been very, very excited about watching with us. Couple of quick notes as programming. This weekend we have the Jedi Archives are going to be back with another episode of the High Republic comic book series, which has been going very, very well. On Monday at 12 o'clock Eastern, I'll be doing a Prep for Celebration news desk. And then the usual shenanigans going on next week with happy hour on Tuesday with after hours, as well as going on towards the final episodes of Clone Wars in the Path of the Darksaber series. But Jeff, anything you want to say in closing?
Just look forward to some more great episodes. Season 7 was amazing. I'm just, everything's going to be very, those episodes are pretty intense. So it's going to be great to watch those again.
Yep. Dave.
I'll just give a plug for, hey, as everybody's getting cool stuff, any of the new stuff coming out, send us your unboxings. We've created a new email for the Virtual Cantina Network. Just email your unboxings to the Virtual Cantina Network at gmail.com. And send us your stuff right there. We will put our little tags on it and put it out to the world because we want to know the cool stuff you've got. Give us your reviews on us. Let us know.
Absolutely.
You let me know if you see anything come through on De Novo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody orders some of that stuff. Bring it there. Let's see what the next seal looks like with a Boba Fett helmet. You use that. That'd be helpful.
Yep. Mark.
I can't wait for next week. So when I was a licensee in
In closing.
I'm so excited about next week. I was waiting for the Siege of Mandalore for years, and I would actually constantly ask my licensing people at Lucasfilm if they were ever going to do it. And they're like, well, the Clone Wars isn't running anymore, and I was like, I'm hearing rumors there might be a movie. And then, of course, we got the final season, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they announced that final season, I just about lost my mind because I was like, they're going to do a Siege of Mandalore movie. And I was like ready, like day of, watched it like multiple times over. My husband was like, "What's wrong with you? You watch the same thing 3 times in a row." And then I was taking notes too. These are some of my all-time favorite episodes. So I'm sad we're only doing 2 of the 4, but I realize that like we're on this call now for well over 2 hours, and it's 3 episodes. So it would be a really long discussion if we did the whole thing. But maybe fans will then watch the next 2 the next day or something. But yes, you can't watch just half of Siege of Mandalore.
No,
they're excellent episodes.
absolutely. Absolutely. And just before we cut, I want to plug one time. Bunta Eve Cantina .square.site SITE. These great t-shirts are available to order right now. Make sure that you get them before Bunta Eve, because we'll have numbers of Bunta Eve, but we will not have a tremendous amount in stock. So if you're looking for it before the event, get it now. So we're very excited about everything that's going on. So we'll see you next week for another edition of The Path of the Darksaber. I'm Spencer with Jeff, Dave, and Mark. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you all.
This is the way.
What he said. Oh, that way.